Welcome to Linda Strickland Art, No Rules Watercolor. I'm Linda and this is Schooner, and today's technique will be open color. If you're new to watercolor, you may want to check out my videos setting up and getting started on my YouTube channel, Linda Strickland Art. It's my goal today to give you just enough information so that you feel confident to paint exuberantly. So grab some brushes and let's get started. This video I'm calling Open Color. It kind of starts with an abstract wash, sort of putting the color where you want it to go, but not controlling it in any way. We're going to work in large color areas, then dry it, and then separate out the subject from the background. So if that all sounds confusing, let's just get started. I've got clean water, clean blotter, and a clean mixing area. Here we go. I've got just water on my brush, and I'm going to randomly wet this. By randomly, I mean don't even pay any attention to your drawing. Just put some water on here and there. This just adds to the fun. So I've got about, I don't know, maybe half of this card covered with water. I don't know if you can see, if it shows in the video. Where it's shiny is where the water is. All right. This is going to give me some hard edges and some soft edges without me having to think about it. And I like to be able to paint without thinking. So here we go. I'm going to put my first wash on. Kind of using primaries. I'm going to use cobalt blue. I'm going to mix up my cobalt blue. So the butterfly is going to have some cobalt blue on him, just here and there. And then some of the pink, which is called opera red. I'm going to splatter him because it's so much fun. Look how, okay, so perfect example. This was all wet. You've got nice blended soft edges. Then you've got hard edges right here. That's good. I like that. I hope I don't mess it up. Now I'm going to use a little yellow on there too, because I want the blue and the pink to make a purpley color, which it's doing. And I want the pink and the yellow to make an orangey color. I don't want to mess that up. Maybe I'll just splatter some more. Let's see what happens. I'll make this run. There we go. Now we're talking. All right. I'm going to leave that like that. The flowers are going to be yellow. So I'm going to splash a little yellow in their general direction. Don't worry about going outside the lines. That's the whole rule of the day is to go outside the lines. I want a little bit of the centers to be a little stronger. Put a little bit of that color in there. That's the pink. You could use orange. You can use any color you want. You can paint anything, any color. We recognize things by their shape. Mix up some green and splash it down here on the leaves. And the green to me is a little uninteresting, so I'm going to put some of the same colors I've already got out in here. Put some yellow in there and a little blue. I didn't mix my puddle up very well. There we go. Now, I have to determine, is that enough color on this butterfly? I think it is. Maybe I need a little more blue out here. I think he's pretty. Okay. Again, less is more. Here's a good trick. This big puddle down here, I mean, I can let it drip off. It's not going to go very far. If I don't want that to dry like that, I can take my wet brush, wipe the excess water off. If I lay this brush down, it'll pick all that extra moist water and pigment up without disturbing the pigment that's on the paper. I can pick this drop up too. Or I can, I'm going to let that one dry hard like that. We'll see how it looks. I'm going to let this dry. All right, my painting is dry. And so what I'm going to do now is separate out the subject from the background. So I'm going to do what we call paint behind. I'm going to paint everything that is not the subject, that being the flowers and the butterfly. So it's going to be some form of a blue-green. And I'm going to make my green by using blue and yellow. So I'm going to mix up a juicy puddle of, I've got the manganese blue, and the regular old yellow, which you can see already has some green in it. There we go. What I'm going to do is paint on dry paper behind the subject. I want that to run this way, so I'm going to tilt it. Now here's the thing I like to do. I've got the blue and the yellow on my palette. I like to pick up blue with one brush stroke, and then the next time I pick up yellow, and it'll kind of run together and make a green, I think, on its own. Perfect opportunity to lay that brush down and mop. See how much ground I can cover? And I can get right in this little area and then lay that brush down and let it work. Paint right off the edge too. If you wanted to, you could have taped off. Look at this moving. Now, you can still see my drips and things showing through from my first painting. That's good. That's what we want. We want that happening. All right, I'm going to continue on around. I'm going to paint with the blue first. There's a little piece in there. See that? I'm going to go right across those stems. I'll find them later. Then I'm going to pick up some yellow and put it in there. And it should make some form of green. That's cool. I like that. Okay. Now, you don't want to jump around all over in different places on the painting. You want to start in one area and work around with keeping your leading edge wet. This would be the leading edge right here. Now, where I'm painting over top of the first wash of yellow, it's kind of reading as green anyway, so I can't really tell what that is there. So I'm just going to keep painting. I can fix it later. Now, this is green, so I'm going to go a little more blue next to it. The leaves are not a real important part of the design, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so you want to be real careful right up on the subject, and then not so careful out to the edges. So here I've got like the wet leading edge. There's like a puddle of paint there. You want to keep that moving. There we go. You should start to see the design popping out at this point, hopefully. I need to mix up some more juicy puddles. Here we go. Okay, now let's turn this around and see if I got my colors right. Seems like there should be a little more green color in this. Because it's so green over here, it wouldn't change colors on the other side of the wing, so drop some color in. Again, as long as it's wet and shiny, you can monkey around with it, change the color. Shouldn't have done that. Don't do that. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. So my painting is dry again, and this is a good segue to say that watercolor is a lot of hurry up and wait. You paint and then you have to wait, and then you paint and you wait. So it's the perfect time to go get a snack. So that's how I watercolor. Okay, let's finish this up. I'm gonna mix up. I've got clean water, and I cleaned my mixing area, ready to go, nice and clean again, because I'm putting pristine, clean color on top. I'm gonna mix a purple. I'm going to use the cobalt blue, which is the same colors that I used in here in the first wash. So it's just going to be the same colors and a darker value. Cobalt blue and opera red. I'm actually might just mix them up. Let's see how they look. All right. This is going to be tricky. I'm going to paint this band that's around here, but I'm not going to paint the big circle. I'm painting around those circles. Some of them are too small. So now we're adding the darks. The darks are what make all the other work really shine out pretty. When I get down here, I'm just going to kind of over it. Okay, now that's a pretty color. I like it. It's a little bit the same. It's the same all the way through. The same value, the same color, which, you know, is a little boring. So I'm going to grab some of this ultramarine, the darker blue, and start up here and let it just kind of run on down. Clean up my painting. And then when it gets down here, I want the passage of color to turn more to the pink. I'm just going to let all that run together and see what it does. Now, to me, much more interesting than just the solid color straight across was. Nothing wrong with it the other way. Just a passage of color generally is a little more exciting. And I like the drama in my paintings. All right, I'm going to do a very similar thing over here. Painting with the cobalt blue mix. Trying to paint around these pesky little circles. As I'm painting this, I think, what was I thinking when I drew these off? But it'll be worth it when you get done. They're going to look good. Okay, I got some good paint coverage on there, nice and wet. This is a good time to look at this side as compared to this side and see the difference in the passages of color to the sameness of this color. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Go with the darker blue up here because that's where my drama is, and I like drama. I like drama in my paintings. That's the only place I want drama. A little more pink down here. Pretty. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it too much. It's fun. I want to keep doing it, but I need to leave it alone. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead. Nothing to paint around there. Whew! That one was easy. Now, here's something I don't ever do, but I'm going to just blot the bottom of this. There we go, just because I want it to look a little bit different as it moves along. Now, if you're going to blot, get in and get out and leave it alone. Don't overdo it. I mean, I'm going to limit you to one blot, 2 max, and then don't hit it any more than that. That's the no rules part of this video. Never blot the paper, unless, of course, when you do. I've got my underpainting, a little bit of that yellow showing through, which is really pretty here because purple and yellow are color complements. So that yellowish orange showing through looks really nice against the purple. Just more of the same here. Put some pink on this end and blue on the other and call it done. Okay, I might have blotted a little too much off of there. Now that I look at the rest of it. So, guess what? Put it back in. In watercolor, I guess as in with life, if you don't know what will happen, find out. There's one way to find out. Give it a try. If you don't like it, we'll fix it. It's just a piece of paper. Okay. All right, he's coming to life now, just putting the darks on him. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. And I like how these flowers came out with my first wash and then painted behind. And they're not as important as the butterfly, so I don't want them to be too exciting and too dramatic. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of color in the centers, and that's all I'm gonna do to these. I got an orangey pink. Just gonna kind of do, that might be too much. It's a little bit of something in the center. Those look good. All right, I'm gonna do a similar approach on the leaves. They're not that important. They're at the bottom of the page. They're a supporting player to the butterfly. They're actually a supporting player to the flowers, which are a supporting player to the butterfly. So they don't need too much on them. We'll do a little bit of, this is just green. I'm gonna get some yellow in there too. Put some. There. We don't want to say too much about those. Okay, I wonder if this has dried while I'm working. I'm going to put a little bit of detail in these pieces here, and I think I'm going to put an orangey red on this. We'll see what happens. It may not work because it's on top of a blue purple. Let's see. Let's see if we can make it work. Oh yeah. I think that's all right. Same thing down here, but varied slightly. This is going to be more orange. Yellowy. Okay. The bodies on these guys basically is a worm. They're not that exciting, not that pretty. I tend to underplay them. So I'm just going to put a little shadowy color on it, call that good. Now I'm going to take the blue purple color, I think, that we started with, the cobalt blue. Let me clean my mixing area. Cobalt blue mixed with a little bit of cobalt blue and the red. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of follow my drawing lines a little bit here. That's too purpley. Well, maybe not. Make the next one blue. Just going to put the lines on here and there. I call this like the dot dash. Okay, so now I've cleaned my brush off. I have just water on my brush. I'm going to kind of soften this because I don't want it to be too hard edged. I think this side needs a little pink dropped in there. There we go. Okay, same thing down here, a little more to the pink end. Pink lean into orange. Just following the color that's already on here. This is my favorite area. I think I should find this wing too. Okay. I want these to be stronger. I'm going to shadow them a little bit. Okay, I am in danger of overpainting this dude. So the big decision now is, do these dots need any color on them? I think it's dry enough. Let's try some orange pink up here. Yeah, I like that. Notice there's a little white showing. I think that kind of looks good. I'm just going to do a couple of these, not all of them, because that would be boring. We want to be anything but boring. All right, I'm having a little too much fun, so I'm going to put my brush down and call this done. Thank you for watching Linda Strickland Art, No Rules Watercolor. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and comment below if you have any questions. And please, post photos of your watercolors, both the fabulous successes and the exuberant fails. See you next time.